Hello everyone, welcome to GMG Labs. Today we are here at my little electronics station slash microscope station. And today we are going to it's something unique today. I ordered a Bicron scintillator through the mail on eBay. Got it for about 50 bucks. Here it is. As you can see, Bicron. The seller, what he said was at the border control where they have like the x-rays and stuff to check vehicles for drugs and anything. You're not supposed to have anything in the board across the border. So he said there was actually a bunch of these stacked to where if anything radioactive was going across the border, they would know it. He said these slid in little slots. Anyway, but I'm going to make it fit my my Ludlum Model 3. As you can see though, yeah, I'll show you. Give me a minute. Use the probe. It has the connector doesn't fit, so this is a little different. This is a female BNC. It looks like a male, but is a female. As you can see, the little hole in there. This is a male because there's a little pin in there. Anyway, but we are going to be connecting one of these onto this right here, and so yeah, I'll get back to you. Something you're gonna need is these are some female BNC connectors that I bought. These actually come with the chassis mounts and stuff in these bags, but I'm not really interested in those. So in here you can see I got a bunch of them. The cheapest way I could buy them was if I bought 20 at a time, and I think that was like $4 or $5 for 20 of them. But this is what they look like. They are female, as you can see, and we've got these. And generally with these, you want the ground to be on the outside, and then your ground or negative. For those of you who don't fool around with a ton of electronics. And your positive will go on the inside, which is that little, I'm guessing brass, crimp thing right there. So, yeah, I've gone ahead and actually cut this part off because we don't need that, and stripped it. And what this looks like is, I don't know if I can show you on camera or not, if it'll focus. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna. Anyway, it's pretty much the same as coaxial cable, except this stuff is a whole lot smaller. So we'll see how that does with the Ludlum. If the wire starts heating up at all, you need to turn it off immediately. That means that you would probably have to replace the wire, which I don't think we'll have to. I think this will work, but we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. So yeah, I'll be right back with you. So what we're going to do is get one of our BNC connectors here. Oh yeah, by the way, if you're going to do this, you should probably, the way I'm going to do it, you're going to need some soldering experience, because this little wire here, we're going to have to, for the ground or the negative, we're going to have to, at least what I did was I'm going to solder it to this these threads right here. And the positive you can probably just crimp down and you won't ever have to worry about it. But we're going to try and solder that anyway. So anyway, I'll get right back with you. Okay, so here's the drawing. It's very short and sloppy. Don't judge me on my drawing skills. Or don't judge me on the drawing skills I don't have. But anyway, so this outside part, the outer rim, sort of like in between the two lines, is going to be the black insulation here. And I would show you this, but it's just too small to see. Sorry if you can hear my bird in the background. Then so all these little like scribbles and lines are going to be woven wire. Alright. So then this next circle in between here is going to be more insulation. And in the very center, there's going to be a small piece of stranded wire. This outside wire here is going to be our negative wire. The inside is the positive. And if you'll remember, the outside of this is our negative, and the inside is the positive. So that's a good little way of kind of remembering it. Is that, you know, outside negative, inside positive. Do not let these two touch. Alright, because there's a lot of voltage running through the Geiger counter, and you might get like a little fireworks show in your house. So make sure those two don't touch. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut. Now we have our positive lead separated. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually hold on. If the camera doesn't ever want to focus, we're gonna cut down a little bit on the black insulation and get the negative lead out. So be relatively generous and just kind of yeah, see, I'm never really all that great at this. So what you want to do is just cut a little lead right there, and bam. So now we have our woven wire right there. Okay, so now what we're actually going to do is, there are many ways to do coaxial. I am not a professional, so unfortunately I'm not great at any of the ways. But the way I'm going to do it here is I'm going to let that in there, like so, all the way up. Well, hold on. First we're gonna bring the woven wire down because we don't really need that right now. Let me turn my soldering iron off because I gotta change the tip. But okay, so you see that I'm gonna put that in all the way up to the rubber and then press a little bit of the rubber in. In my case, this part's a little too long, so what we're gonna do is just cut a very small amount off because we need it to go up in there. But there we go. Okay. Well, hold on. I'm just gonna use these because I think those other ones have like little dents in them, making it tough to cut wire. But okay, so anyway, I'm gonna go right in there like so, and then push. Well, hold on. Jeez. There. Push some of the rubber insulation up there with it. After we do that, I lied about the soldering part. I'm just gonna crimp it. I'm gonna just crimp it like that, and it's pretty tight in there, so I'll let you look at that. See, it's crimped. But now we have all this woven wire to deal with. Now, if I did this correctly, and I don't think I did, it would normally just kind of fit around this part. But looks like what I'm gonna have to do is now we do have to do some soldering, and I will get right back to you on that because I got to change my soldering tip, and I will let that heat up. Okay, so now I have a different tip, and so I've got my soldering iron on, and we are going to fit it in there and kind of discuss how we're going to do this. Now, earlier when I tried this, what I just did was take it, I bent it around. This probably isn't good for the wire, really, but tried to kind of stretch the wire out, bent it around, and just soldered it like that. That is almost definitely not the right way to do it. Hold on. And just like that, soldered it to the threads. That is almost certainly not the right way to do it, but that's probably how we're going to do it. So I actually probably need a little bit more what's it called, woven wire, but we're just gonna do it like so. Okay, so I'll get right back to you. Okay, so I'm back. Here I have a little helping hand thing. I think I paid $5 or $10 for it on eBay. It's pretty great purchase, I thought. But yeah. Anyway, if you don't have one, it's fine. All it's got to do is hold that wire right next to the threads, so I don't have. So I can use both hands to hold both the solder and the soldering iron. So, yep, this is the old tip. I'll show you now. Usually you keep your tip tinned, and I'll show you what that means in a minute. I will tell you right now that this is not a well-tinned tip. It is corroded as crap, and tinned usually it's supposed to be kind of a little silvery and stuff with your solder on it. This, no, none of that. It is. I'm probably gonna have to throw this one away, or maybe grind it out a little bit and expose some more metal. Right now it's a ton of oxides on it, which is preventing it from being tinned. Anyway, went down a bit of a rabbit hole there. So once my soldering iron heats up, and yeah, just once that heats up, I'll show you sort of what the tip should look like when it's tinned. And oh yeah, by the way, I am using lead-free acid core solder for this. Typically for like circuit boards and stuff, I would use oh yeah, by the way, lead-free doesn't really have anything to do with it. It's the only small solder I had. So but usually I'd use like rosin core. I had this from Radio Shack. Trademark. But yeah, I like to use smaller wire. Oh, dropped it. Anyway, I like to use smaller solder, mostly because my soldering iron is a relatively cheap soldering iron. Voice crack. But yeah, it's just the main reason. This is 60/40, as you can see. Let's see. That's the diameter. But yeah, this is actually pretty decent off solder, I think. Probably because I mostly just don't know any better. But this is kind of solder I'm using. I'll be right back with you. Oh yeah, by the way, here's like a little soldering sponge. They're very cheap on eBay. For a pack of 100, I think it's like $1 or $2. So the packs look like this. So they come all dehydrated, and then you put water on them and they expand. So I've got my tip nice and hot, and I'm actually gonna bring that right there so I can show you a little more. So right here, as you can see, if it'll focus, yeah, it's not really all that shiny. Now when it's tin, that means you've got a coat of metal on the outside, and it'll kind of have a shine. Right now it's all dull, and you'll see when I rub it on my sponge, the sponge is damp, by the way. That sort of, these little marks are left, and that's not from a sponge burning or anything. It's just from the oxides of metal being wiped off. So I'm gonna tin it with the rosin core because I don't want it to eat. I don't want the acid core to eat up my tip. But anyway, it should be very fast. Oh yeah, and don't breathe the fumes. I mean, I feel like that should go without saying. Anyway, so you see now I have. I can't really. Well, it's hard to see, but anyway, when I do it now, some of the color should go. Anyway, it's tinned now. This isn't a great tip, so yeah, I see what's happening. It's like wiping it off, but almost as soon as it's wiping off, it's going right back. So I'm gonna actually tin it a little bit more. Anyway, you can sort of see it got shiny, and then Anyway, what we're gonna do is I will switch the camera view. Let me move my little stand out the way there. Oh yeah, you like my stand? Look how sloppy it looks. Made it myself. Anyway, so here, let's get back to that. I will try to be as out of the way as I can when soldering this so you guys can see it. But I'm sorry if I am in the way. It's kind of tough to, let's see. Okay, so here, what you want to do is you want to press the wire and you want to feed it. You want to touch the wire mostly so it sticks. And yeah, it's not working all that great. I am by no means a professional. So if you know a better way to do this, please do it. Use a mix of rosin core. There we go. I don't know if you saw that on the camera, but how it kind of sucked onto the threads there, the metal. That's when it actually bonds with the metal. Now I used rosin core there. I usually use acid core for things like this, like that aren't part of a circuit board, because things like this can be dirty, but and the acid kind of helps to remove the oxides on it, the metal oxides. So but this was relatively clean, so I just stuck with the rosin core and it seemed to work pretty well. So yeah, and the way to test it is just kind of tap it a little bit, and if it doesn't like break or if the joint doesn't break, then it should be good. In a minute, we are going to actually wrap this up in white tape first, and then we'll test it. Okay, so now we have this nice and soldered. Be careful when it's done, because it's still warm from the soldering iron. So once you've turned your soldering iron off, you may notice one thing. Hold on, if it'll focus. Anyway, it's not focusing really. There, I have an idea. Shebang. Anyway, it's a little bit crooked in there. And let me get my other cord here. It will not go on. Or maybe it will. Oh, this one will. Anyway, but if it does get a little crooked, which it's still slightly crooked, just take something and move it back. It's the plastic insulator in there is the problem. I don't know if I can get the camera to focus. Yeah. See, it's still a little crooked, but I think it'll work here. And you gotta be careful because you don't want to make your inside little pin crooked from your cord. So anyway, what we're gonna do is actually right there, that little area, there's some little tiny fine wires protruding from it, and I don't want them to reach that center thing. So what I'm gonna do is I have some electrical tape here somewhere. I will get my electrical tape and be right back with you. Okay, of course, me not being able to find anything, it was right where I left it in front of me because I was prepared. Except not mentally prepared for it because I obviously couldn't. Anyway, so what we're going to do is, if this camera will focus, my camera's my phone, so bear with me. We're going to try to wrap a little bit of white tape around the center there to kind of keep any of those down. So yeah, I will get back to you once I've done that. Okay, so now we have that little area wrapped up. Now we're going to go ahead, take our electrical tape. I would use black tape, but all I have is white. So we're just going to wrap that all up so it looks a little bit neater. Okay, so now I believe we are ready to test it. So here's our little probe. Let me refocus and actually we're just gonna test it on background for now, and I will go get a radiation source in a minute. I don't have any official radiation sources, so yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, I have the little adapter thing, the adapter connector for my Ludlum, because Ludlum is special and they don't take BNC like every other Geiger counter. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and plug that up right there, like so. And let's see. Okay, so we're gonna leave audio on. We are gonna start. Here, I'll just hold it up like that. We're gonna start with 0.1. And as you can see, it maxes out. I'm gonna put this on slow. And even on slow, it maxes out really fast. So we're gonna go on 1, reset, and a little slower. I'm gonna move it on fast so you can kind of see. Okay, so yeah, around 4,500-ish. Let's move it on slow. So yeah, around 4,500 counts per minute. That's not bad. That's very good for a $50 scintillator. But yeah. Anyway, as you can hear, it counts. Okay, so that's gonna be all for that video. If you like that video, please like. If you want to see more videos like that, please subscribe. And if you have anything to say about that video, please comment. I thank you for watching. I hope you have a good rest of your day or night. I don't know when you're watching this. So, yep. Bye.